Hello, I'm JonJoe. Welcome to Line War. Today we have Rikiez versus me. I started with only 4 territories on this map. This is the Nightmare Mode tournament game thing I'm doing, the event. So I have a few rules that I've got to abide by. So I can do 5 nukes and hit at the same time. I've got to write my name with units. I have to win in under an hour. And I can't use barracks to start with. 4 territories only at the beginning. And only 1 unit type of each type. So, obviously I can get rid of one of these challenges and replace with whatever I want. Well, not replace, but just get rid of it so I don't have to do it. And I chose to use barracks to begin with. I also decided to choose to keep the 4 territory start, and there's a reason why I wanted to add that in anyway, in general to the whole challenge, because if you start with only 4 territories, you can increase your barracks capacity quite a lot, and you can keep up with this production pretty much. You do stop for a little bit, but you can, depending on how fast you can capture these territories, you can probably keep up with the production of this many units quite nicely. We do see my economy at the minute is quite bad, but just as it hits 0, we do slow down a little. But the territory grabbing increases really fast. We'll have a look at Rikiez right now, because he is my opponent. He can do whatever he wants. So he doesn't have to abide by the challenges I just mentioned. He can just attack me with whatever he wants. He can use all the air units, all the ground units he wants. Currently he's getting 1 barracks up and he's keeping some money behind. He's got some energy. He is planning to do some navy stuff. Definitely trying to cross the waters, and we can see that he has spotted me now. I spotted him first. I did kind of ignore it. I just kept my units going because I can see that I've got quite a few infantry units right now. So comparing the amount of units we have, he's got 6 territories at the beginning, so he has more infantry from the very moment we began. I've just noticed he built an airstrip before building an airfield. I think he's demolishing it, so that mistake probably is what allowed me to try to push through a bit earlier on here. So let's see how this ends up going, because he's got quite a few units, but he doesn't have a lot of production to back them up with. Whereas I didn't have as many units, but the amount of production I've been able to gather has allowed me to create a very strong frontline force with infantry only to begin with. And I still have quite a few units expanding this way, which when these get to a certain amount of size, because of the size of territory I have to go for, I will end up diverting the production this way as well, increasing the pressure. But as you can see, my economy is pretty empty now. We've just hit 0, or unable to fund a barracks, so we got 2 barracks now out of order. But is it worth it? Because infantry units only cost 17, so we've already got 1 back in production. The other one's straight back in now. So I think when you're starting with infantry, like an infantry spam, start with 4 territories in general. Even if you're not doing this challenge, just do that. That's a very good way to start on a mass land map. Let me know what you think. I am back down to under 17, so I am slowing down my own production with another 2 barracks. But I do think this is quite fair because it does catch up quite quickly, even though I'm still in the negatives. They go back over 17, so it's producing another unit again. That's in other places though. It's trying to keep up. This one's been out of order for a while, so maybe choose whether you want to use 1 less barracks, because the production isn't there for it. But maybe it's worth keeping this many barracks. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe 8 and then keep some money behind for something else, or just see how the production goes. We did have a bit of an engagement here, which I decided to retreat from because I've got some units coming in this way, and I'm still grabbing territory up here, so I don't mind bringing these units back. I made a circle here so that I can build up a force to push back against these units. They didn't get too close to me either. But my main objective, I wanted to start on this island. We had a bit of a debate who's starting in this area, because both of us wanted to start here. So it blacklisted twice. This is why we're quite far apart, but I wanted to conquer this island mainly. I don't really care too much about the other islands just yet. I want my opponent to have somewhere to go once I defeat him from this area. That's the plan anyway, because if I defeat him too quickly, then he'll quit and I won't be able to complete the challenges of the Nightmare Mode tournament. Which, let me know if you're actually going to try doing this tournament, because I really want to know how many people are interested in it, because it's kind of a different tournament, isn't it? It's not like bracketed tournaments. It's very different, so I want to know your opinions on it. So I did get one group of units in. They are heavily attacking this airfield, but I don't think I get it at this point in time. These units are trying to push through, and there's 4 units here defending it. We've got 1 heavily damaged unit there. He's gone down as well, so I've got to try and come back for that. But now I have these units up here, as well as reinforcements coming in that way, and these guys are coming back in. I'm pretty much covering all of this area. He's on the retreat, as he lost most of his units in that initial engagement. And as I said earlier, once I get to a certain point where I've got enough units, I'm just going to push these guys through this way, leave them. They don't need reinforcements, because I'm not going to be fighting anything. So I now have extra produced units coming in this way. The helicopter makes me a bit nervous, especially when the artillery are positioned here, so I pull these units back, hoping that these units will move, and if they don't, they'll just circle around over here anyway. So they're either going to push forward or come this way. So let's have a look at Rikiez's side of things. He can't see too much, you see. There's a lot of units up here of mine that he just doesn't even know about. So he's just trying to address what he can see. He can tell that I've got units coming this way. I am bringing units in again this way as well. So I think, because my units are taking over the territory here, I'm hoping that his artillery are going to be a bit overwhelmed and they won't know where to go. And because they're so slow, I thought maybe I could overwhelm them early. From Rikiez's side of things, those helicopters are doing a very good job for him, especially as he set up energy early. So he's definitely able to keep them running for quite a while. But it does kind of look like a horde of zombies that are just walking towards his base right now. So this is meant to be nightmare mode for me, because I've got challenges that are going to be hard to complete in this, and he doesn't. But at this point, looking at this has got to be a nightmare to see from your opponent coming in when you've only got this amount of units to defend against these infantry swarms. But he does have a factory producing artillery. He is a bit low on cash, but he does have some territories over here now. He is gaining them, spreading some units across there. And he's also building up some boats over here, which he hasn't got any infantry left over here. He's brought them all over here. He's trying to build a defensive line now. He's even attached the helicopters to that. And yeah, the artillery went this way, so I remember that I pulled these units back and did a line like this. You build lines like this when you're actually getting attacked. You can still keep these in groups and push these forward as one sort of single group. And another thing this is an advantage for is the flag commands you can have running behind them. So you've got a good strong force and then capture the territories behind you, like I always say that you should do. And in this game, I actually followed what I say. So yeah, my unit's now pushing in through this way. The line is going to end up connecting to this, but these guys end up moving that way, so I think I delete it at this point. It was either delete this line or delete this line. I think... oh, I switched it to blue. So now these units are just going to follow that command there. Until I set a strike command for the airfield. I want to take out that airfield. Those helicopters are doing too much free damage. I didn't want to keep that up. I needed to show him that he's not allowed to do that. Not against me. And at this point, I probably should have deleted this line. I've got enough force on the front line to just swarm him. So that's what I should have done there. I was concerned about these territories. It could build something behind my attacking force, which would cause a distraction for me. Becoming very problematic, so I decided to just try and take those territories back for myself. I do delete that line in the end, so all these units are going to be trying to go onto this command over here, and now I don't care what I see in front of me. I am just going to grab the rest of his territories. He switched into tanks, hoping that the tanks would be strong against the infantry, which they are. They would be pretty effective against my infantry rush right now. But because I've used infantry, that means I can't use commandos. Gotta remember that. I can still build other vehicles, like the air units or some vehicles, but we just don't know which ones yet. till I decide what's best to use. I noticed he was quite enjoying air units, so I went for SAM vehicles, which meant I can't use tanks or artillery. But I am going to take out his structures there. Have I built a factory yet? Yes, I have. There it is. And that's going to be producing SAM units for me. Won't be able to produce anything else, but it does mean I'm going to start needing to go into other things as well. But at this point in the game, I have my unit spreading across over here. This is gaining a lot of territory for me. My economy right now is 600 per minute, with a positive 166 per minute, and that's pretty much because I got so many infantry out so fast. I was able to grab as much territory as I wanted. And I pretty much just walked over the enemy. I steamrolled him. Didn't worry too much about the navy yard, because I wasn't planning to go into the waters anytime soon. Because I can't chase the enemy right now. I don't want him to quit too early. Still need to fire 5 nukes at him, write my name, win in an hour, which does mean I do need to rush a bit. And I can still only use 1 unit type. So I do have to be careful not to let him build up too much, but not to apply too much pressure that it ends up making him quit. Luckily, I managed to get control pretty early in this game. In 12 minutes, I practically won the starting locations and the biggest island of the map. He decided to try and win with this island here. From his perspective right now, he still has these units here with the structures. And he's trying to move his helicopters out the way, by the looks of it. Actually, that's just ground units. But he has transferred over here. He has helicopters on this airfield now. They're repairing. And he's got a factory up. He should have built more barracks here. If he needed to come back, he needed more barracks for infantry. So he should have spread them out. Took over this island as fast as he could. But right now, on the main island, pretty much all of these units have captured the territories over there. And I've sent some units to go this way to help capture the territories this way because they're lacking a bit behind right now. And at this point, I turn off all production of these barracks. And quite potentially, I should have destroyed them. I can't remember if I do. I don't think I do. But I probably should have destroyed them. And what I'm trying to do now is get my economy up. Because if I get to build a rocket, and then I build it, I'm going to have to pay for the upkeep of that rocket, which will make it slower. So I needed to make it faster. So instead of waiting for just 1 rocket, I had to build all 5 at once to try and do it as fast as I could. I shouldn't be telling you all my tips here because, you know, then you guys might actually beat me in this tournament. But it is my own tournament. I don't want to win my own tournament. Where's the fun in that? You guys need to beat me quite easily at this, as I'm sure most of you can. So now my economy is at 800, but to build 5 rockets, here we go, I'm starting the next one. We've got JonJoe coming up, written with units. So, with the rockets, I want to build 5 of them, and I want to build them at the same time, so I'm going to need a lot of money. I could just save up the cash, but I wanted to increase my economy, just in case the enemy surprises me with anything. Getting my energy up now, I've got a town there. Start building on all these industries. I've got a few locations to build on, so I start building up those. And I remember that I do put 2 names here. You don't have to. You only have to put the first 3 letters of your game name. Okay? Or your real name, but I don't suggest using your real name. Use your in-game name. We can already see that. So we got John and Joe. You don't have to do this. Just remember the first 3 names. Letters of your name. So, Rikiez doesn't have to do that because he's fighting against me. He is trying to expand his territory over here. He does have a barracks, which isn't producing anything right now. It looks like he's turned it off to build up some eco for something else. Oh, the energy. He wants his energy up, I think. So he's turned off the production to try and get an energy well. But I don't think he has a location for an energy well. He needs a power plant. Which is even worse of a situation for him right now. Me, on the other hand, I have pretty much written my name with units. I have pretty much conquered over most of this land over here. And I am slowly building up my economy to get to 2,500, which would be how many I'd need to build the actual silos. But I'd also need another 2,500 to build the rockets themselves. So I'm going to wait until I've got 5,000 economy after building some industry and stuff. And I am a bit concerned the enemy's going to attack me at some point while I'm trying to build up and ruin this whole challenge for me. So I am going to build some strikers here. I think I'll build a couple more of these, but I can't build any other units. Any other air units because I'm building strikers here. We've got SAM units here. Infantry here, so I can still build Navy units. Which I start building submarines. Now that I've built submarines, I can't build destroyers, cruisers, or missile ships. I can still build the transports, but not missile ships, cruisers, or destroyers. But there we go, we have my name. I would say that's clearly visible right now. Even if I took these lines underneath away, they'd still say JonJoe. So, this is what you'd have to do when writing your own name. There's a bit of a gap there, but that's still a J. I'm not going to be too picky on it as long as it says your name. So, there we go. Got another challenge complete there. We still got to win in under an hour, and I think we're doing pretty good. We're 17 minutes on the clock right now. That's not too bad of a start. All I've got to do is hit with 5 nukes and win within an hour. So at this point, not much happens throughout the game, so I am going to speed it up a little bit. We're going to be in ×4. I took the name away now, and I'm building a defensive line. Not quite the actual fortifications, but I just wanted vision over the ocean. So that's what I did here. I've got 3 airfields for strikers now. Building up submarines because I saw the transport boats, and I didn't want him trying to sneak across. I wanted more vision in the ocean. And I also wanted to destroy the energy well I could see down here. And another reason I chose submarines is because they're a bit stealthed. I mean, they can be seen with enough helicopters and stuff like that. But because they're stealthed, if he's not using many units at the sea, it should be quite easy for me to work around that. But yeah, so we've got this nice line which gives me a lot of vision over the ocean. If I had doubled that line, I might have got more vision, but didn't worry too much. He did scout me then with an interceptor, and he is building his tanks up. After that scout, he tries to send in some helicopters around, and he is going to try and sneak a sight in over here to see what he can do. And because it is just infantry there, I do respond by bringing some SAM units down, but I'm not too worried about having them in place because I got enough units that they can just replace each other for a bit. Sorry guys, you are expendable. They're cheap enough to do that with, but I am going to start moving out some SAM units down this way just to make sure he doesn't do it again. But I don't want to spread him out too much. I don't want to move all my SAM units down here and then he attacks in the middle. But my cash is coming up now, so we've got 2,000. I only need another 2.5 times that. Him, on the other hand, is building power plants. He's got a town up and running. He's captured some territories down here now. He is pretty much conquering his own island. He is a bit behind, but that's exactly where I wanted him. So, I am almost fully stocked with strikers right now. I've just got this airfield catching up. More SAM units coming in. And my industry and towns are coming up quite nicely. The interceptors came in for a scout then, hoping to do some damage, but the strikers, not strikers, the SAM units stopped them from doing that. And I did bring my submarines around the back here to capture some territories. Anything to increase my eco, you know? He could have been doing this with his transport boats as well. He could have captured the territories up here, around over there, if there's any of that. But he didn't. But he is going to go for an attack right now. So I'm probably going to slow it down for the attack when they're in the boat ready to move. You can see this territory is being taken, but he doesn't know what by. But I got my submarines there, and I can see one of the boats here. But I am going to move out to that after this territory is claimed. From his perspective, he just knows that it's being taken, so he should be able to figure out quite easily that that's submarines there. He's separating his tanks out over here, so he's planning to invade with infantry mostly, I think. And bring them in. And then his tanks will come in after. I didn't spot his attack with the tanks or anything like that. I was doing this because I'm setting up my transport boats and I wanted to attack in 2 different locations. And as you can see now, I have my nuclear silos set up and the nukes are ready, well, starting to be built. Right, I'm going to slow down the last part of the game because this is where most of the rest of the engagements are happening. From his point of view, he's got some strikers in. He wants to take out these infantry by air. He spots my submarines, but I do have some in there already, and it's going to take out some of these units. I'm trying to get these submarines into that location quicker, but that's why they were cutting across here. My nukes are pretty close to being done, but he hasn't seen them yet, so he doesn't even know this is happening just yet anyway. However, as I said, when I set up my units in a line, I didn't want him to attack me in the middle, but as soon as I take them away from this line, he comes straight in to attack me from the middle. I didn't want to reveal my strikers either, so I didn't release them straight away, but my submarines wouldn't get there in time. They are lagging just a bit behind, so I've still had to deal with one wave. And he launched right next to my nuke, so I had to defend it. He has spotted the nuke, and he's going to go for it, but this is the nuke that's furthest away from him, so he probably feels alright about it. And my strikers come in and absolutely destroy it. I've got loads of energy. I can run these strikers for a little while. Probably could do with a bit more energy, to be honest, but I didn't mind too much, because I knew the attack probably wouldn't last that long. I just needed more than 100 just so I can fire my nukes. But yeah, his attack didn't last that long. His tanks are still over there. He can't bring them over until he owns the territory they are landing in. I can hear the standing by. So we have my nukes here. The strikers are just landing. We were able to successfully stop the attacks. He's getting ready with his submarines right now. And I'm firing 1 nuke, 2 nukes, a 3rd, there's the 4th, and the last one is just there. 5 rockets fired at the enemy, all at the same time. One's gone off over there, another one right there taking out most of those tanks. I saw the power plants, I went for those. Didn't quite know about this airfield, otherwise I probably would have targeted that better. I would have liked them to land at the same time, but as long as I fire them at the same time, that's all good. There we go. So one of his power plants must have survived. He's got 30 left. He's sent out an attack against me before I can get in there. Ah, there you go. He's got an energy well over here. That's what his energy is. So I am just flooding my units across now, not only there, but up here as well. Bringing my transports in just to try and get as many units across as possible really fast. But I had so much money left over, my rockets are building once again. But there you go. That was my nightmare mode. My last challenge is to win within a minute, and unless he comes back really well right now, I think I've got this one in the bag. I mean, this is a replay. I already know what happens. So, I did 5 nukes hit. I wrote my name. I won in under an hour. I did use barracks, so I can't claim I did no rack start, so I did 5 out of the 6 challenges. I started with 4 territories, and I only used 1 unit of each type. What will you do when you try and do your nightmare mode against other people? Let me know what you think your strategy is. What's the best one to skip? Or should you just do them all, because is it worth that 10-minute bonus? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, thank you for watching. There are 2 videos on screen right now. Feel free to like and subscribe and let people know about the challenge. I really want to have a lot of people in on this so I can make a really nice video for Halloween. One of my favourite holidays of the year. So, I'll see you around, guys.